Welcome to the EBC Podcast More Than Fitness. With a combined 50 years worth of experience and knowledge in the industry, we're going to have an open discussion on everything fitness and more. Hosted by myself, Wes, an EBC director, James Sweeney, a sports scientist and EBC director, Glyn Roberts, a former Royal Marine and EBC director, and Will Young, our online coach specialist and EBC instructor. Welcome back, guys, to the EBC Podcast More Than Fitness. As you can see, if you're watching this on YouTube, we've got Bill here. Bill is one of our members over at Whittam location. I'm not going to big him up too much because, well, I don't like him very much, but he's here anyways. He's doing us a solid. Hi, Bill.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Hi, Bill.
Hi, Bill.
How you getting on?
Yeah,
Bill,
good.
You good?
Yeah, good.
Yeah? Having to put up with Wes a lot?
I've got a session with him afterwards,
Right,
so I can't really say anything.
Get it
Yeah,
out of your system now because it's all
I'll say it afterwards.
Get it out of
Yeah.
your system, and whatever's said in this 30 minutes, I'll let it go.
That's a lie.
All right, no.
That's
I'll
a
let it go.
lie.
No, I'm a man of my
definitely
word.
not.
I will
Lie.
let it go. I'm a man of my word.
Just safe here.
He's sitting there with his fingers crossed.
Man of my word. Safe
I've
zone.
learnt now. Say everything after the session ends. 8 o'clock, then you can say what you
Yeah.
want.
I've
Then
got
you
a
abuse the
ridiculously
instructor.
good memory, and I'll see you on Friday.
See you on Friday.
Right, so we're going to delve into Bill's journey into EBC, pre-EBC, how he found EBC60. And we're going to just talk about, just going to share some of your wins. He's had absolutely phenomenal results in the last year. I don't like to big him up too much, but credit where credit's due. He's applied himself, he's stayed consistent, and, well, the results speak for themselves, as you will see in the before and afters that we will put up now. That one's for Will, so when he's editing, he knows when to put it up. So, Bill, let's just tell us a little bit about you, like your journey into EBC. I think would be a good place to start, really.
Yeah, so I'd never really had any sort of enjoyment with sort of fitness. At school, I wasn't very active. I'd done little bits and pieces, bit of boxing, but when I left school, just stopped.
That
It's like
annoys
that
me
hard
because you've got good joints. You've got low mileage on your joints.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it, but yeah, just straight out of school, just stopped, and then just went into work. And now I'm in quite a very sedentary job, just sat at a desk all day. So there wasn't anything.
At school and that, though, you just didn't take to sport. It just wasn't your bag.
No, not at all. I tried doing gyms when I left school, just don't find any enjoyment, or I didn't find any enjoyment out of it. So I really found it difficult to try and find something that sort of clicked with me.
And the whole purpose, right, of PE in school is to get people active, you know, post school life.
Yeah, I think it was a bit of ego thing because it was like, oh, go on, we'll set you out on a cross country. Oh, you didn't do very well, bottom set. I was like, all right, okay.
Yeah.
So I was in a group of people that didn't want to do PE.
Yeah.
So then it was just like, oh, okay, this is just me then. So yeah, when I left, it was just a hard stop. Like, okay, won't do anything.
Yes.
Did you feel like that as well? You just thought that's just not for me.
Yeah, it was just, that's not for me. Or if it got a little bit too difficult, like, oh yeah, it's because I'm obviously bottom set. Like it's
Right.
I'm just one
Didn't
of
build
them
you any
type of people.
natural
No.
confidence. That's
not
the
at all.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's hard.
Yeah.
And coming out of school, like that's complete opposite of what you want, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mm.
You know, in terms of outcome and that. Right. So that's your starting point.
Yeah, for
that
sure.
was-
And then I think, we spoke before the podcast and stuff, but the job you went into first was quite energetic. You burnt a lot of energy. You did something you really enjoyed,
yeah,
didn't you?
it was
So-
something that again I didn't really have a lot
Hold on,
of
just
time
tell us where you were ranked. Come on, tell us. Bottle flipping.
Oh yeah, so I worked for quite a well-known bar. They do a lot of sort of annual competitions. So within my first year at the company, I was ranked top 20 in the UK.
For what?
He was full-blown
for
Tom
bartending.
Cruising.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if you've ever seen the
He
film
was
like
Cocktail,
Cocktail, yeah, that's what
Of course,
I
I've
used to
seen
do.
the film Cocktail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, I
So,
have.
the amount of
What a
people I
film.
say that, and it's like, what? I was like,
It's because
okay.
they're young.
That's a good film.
Anybody under the age of 30 probably never seen it. How old are you?
28.
Oh my god!
I know, you don't look it.
What? Stop bringing youngsters in here, man.
It's our generational change, isn't it? What do you want me to do?
But yeah, I went from that into sort of construction work, which was quite energetic, and then went from that into a desk job, still sort of eating the same, and then over sort of 2 or 3 years, I think it got to the point where every 2 or 3 weeks I was buying new work clothes because I couldn't fit into anything.
That's crazy.
Wow.
So yeah, I was buying like double, triple XL jumpers just so I could have something to fit in.
And what was the point where you're like, enough's enough?
Yeah, what was the turning point?
Yeah.
I think it was at work, like our lifts have got like full length mirrors, and I'm sat there with our CEO. And he's obviously suited and booted, and I'm sat there in a triple XL, well, looked like a tent. But I just sat there, caught myself in the mirror. I was like, this is horrible. Like I can't.
That's
do
crazy.
this anymore.
Have we got pictures? Like, have you got the before pictures?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because obviously I've only met you a couple of times before when you're at the end of it and you're out the other side
I was
training.
saying, like, even showing the people that I worked with my before photos, I was like, you were never that big. It's like, yeah, that was a year ago.
That's crazy.
And yeah, they don't even notice it. Or didn't realise that was how big I was. So yeah, 118 kilo was when I first started.
So the first run on the ladder then to do something is, for you, it's like, well, I've put weight on.
Yeah.
It's got to stop.
You've identified it straight away, haven't you? The first thing.
Because some people deny it, don't they?
Yeah.
It's completely... Yeah, that's crazy.
Let's have a look.
Mad, isn't it?
That is crazy.
Yeah.
You have to stick that up on the...
Yeah.
So some people just are in complete denial, I think, with it. They just don't want to... They're happy.
Was there never a point, though, when you were buying bigger clothes constantly? Did you ever one point sort of go, fucking hell, or maybe I need to stop? Was it? I think
from,
there never a
from
point?
going like large to extra large was a bit like, okay, like, I am sat at a desk all day, kind of makes sense.
Justifying it.
But then, then it was when it was the double XLs, it was like,
And you feel like if you looked at your behaviour, day to day and like a typical day, you feel like the defining thing that changed was you were less active.
Yeah.
So you were eating roughly the same?
See, I never thought that I was eating that bad. I was like, I'm not really snacking that much. I only have sort of lunch and dinner, so I don't really eat any sort of calories in the morning. So I can't really be eating that much. But it was only, sort of when I started looking at sort of habits and stuff like that.
Give us a run, if you don't mind, give us a bit of a rundown what you were eating there when you was at your biggest, just out of for context.
To be honest, I think it was just I was eating loads at lunch and then loads at dinner and then not doing anything.
No activity, no burning
whatsoever.
at all.
No. If you can get to a point like, even 15-minute walk to the station, like, can you drop me off at the station?
Yeah.
So I wasn't even walking 15 minutes to the station.
Yeah.
And obviously the catch-22 is when you start to get bigger and you're heavier, everything's harder, isn't it?
Yeah. Even
you almost lose the tools, don't you?
Yeah,
to be able
walk
to do
the
something.
station, my knees would swell up.
Really?
Yeah, couldn't do anything for the rest of the day because my knees hurt.
What about your self-esteem and stuff, and actually how you felt about yourself? Was it quite low at that point? Was it?
Yeah, hated it.
Yeah,
couldn't even look in the mirror like a lot of the time. Or if I was getting changed, I'll go into the bedroom because I know there's not a mirror there. So I'd go there to get changed.
Mad, yeah.
So,
sorry, mate. How long were you at that weight for? Do you think?
Probably about 2 years, maybe.
Really?
But yeah, it sort of crept on for about 3. So the last sort of 2 years of that, I was probably maintained at about 118, 120 kilo.
I think it's a really tough thing to, firstly, identify for yourself as being insane. But like, people don't realise how hard it is when you weigh a lot more. All of a sudden, you lose the ability to do certain things. Being active becomes an issue. When you weight people down at sessions, how much harder is it to just get around the session as normal?
Yeah.
And you're living with that, day in, day out.
I think there was a lot of denial as well because I was like, I'm probably only about 110. Like, I could be probably happy at 110 and never sort of weighed myself because I don't want it to be about the number or more like a body shape. And then it was only when I stood on a scale, I was like, I'm 120 kilo. I sort of overshot by 10 kilo. I was like, And then that was it. It was sort of spiral like, I can't think about where I want to be because I'm too far away from that. I can't get to my end point because, it's just too far away.
Did you ever think, though, when you identified the fact that you were out of shape, overweight, uncomfortable, low self-esteem, all the negative sides, did you ever think, I'll never be able to get out of this hole and I can't dig myself out of this? Do you not even know where to start with it?
Yeah, I had no sort of knowledge on any sort of fitness. So I was like, that's where I want to be, but I don't know how to get there, don't know what to do. I tried all like the silly sort of fad diets or...
Go on, name one. Go on.
Name a shame.
One of them was weird. I saw it on like TV. It was like just really restricted. It was like a potato diet.
I'm interested.
Nothing but potatoes.
Lovely. Like the celery diet.
What was that? Eat nothing but potatoes?
Yeah, it was 2 pounds of potatoes and that was it. Nothing else.
Who comes up with this shit?
Honestly,
That is a new one.
That's a new one for me.
I've
I've never heard that.
got one. It's called a sawdust diet. And you only eat sawdust.
It was horrible. Like, 3 days in, like, I just couldn't function. Like, just
not surprised.
I couldn't sleep because I had just had pounding headaches.
Wow.
But then it was just obviously
Can I-
super restrictive,
Right,
no calories.
Genuine question though. What made you? I'm laughing in my head because it's just so ludicrous. But what made you actually think that the potato diet was
it
going
was
to work?
because again, it was.
I'm
put
trying to be
on-
serious because
it
I'm
was
intrigued.
put on. I think some sort of one of them like super sized, super skinny sort of programs.
Where did you find it, mate?
It was on telly, like
Was
some and it was like they lost obviously loads of weight really quickly.
Did it peel off?
I was
them or
like,
not?
yeah.
Oh,
No.
Oh,
But that's-
dear, oh dear.
When I first
God.
started, I was like, I need to obviously lose this weight really quickly to then be able to get myself go, oh, now I've lost loads of weight really quick. I can then start to bulk up a bit,
It's
or
'cause
I can go to
Yeah,
more.
that's an
I'm
interesting
asking,
point.
like, what made you think, like, why did you look at that and think that's the way forward? Because I'm interested to know why, I have this conversation with people a lot, we all do. Why the fuck are you starting a juicing diet, the celery diet, the fucking shit shake diet,
He
whatever
said it, though.
crap it is?
He said it.
But what is it that makes that seem so, like, the fucking
I had
magic
the
pill?
same thing with like the calorie trackers. How much weight do you want to lose a week? It's like, I want to lose over a kilo a
It's
week.
quick.
It's like,
It's-
oh,
you
there you
said-
go. There's eat 1,300 calories a day.
Yeah.
I think
And
the
then-
attraction is, mate.
It's
like
the
you
quick-
said,
it's the quick
it's
fix.
It's the quick
It's quick
fix.
fix.
You're
The
like, it's quick.
quickness.
The irony of that is, right, I always say to people, like, how long did it take you to put on that weight?
Yeah.
So why do
That-
people think it's going to
It's a fair
take
point.
like
no-
2
but no-
weeks
but
to
no one
lose it? It
thinks like
takes
that, do they?
it takes time to put it on. It takes time to lose it because it's a gradual process, right? But people, this is the thing that people need to understand. Identify the fact that you've put weight on your own, whatever it might be. There's a journey you need to start, right? That's the important thing. But you also need to understand patience. It's taken you, whoever it might be, yourself, 6 months, a year, 2 years to go from 10 stone to 20 stone, right? What makes you honestly think it's going to take you 4 weeks to go from 20 stone back to 10 stone?
Because the lady on TV told me I could.
Yeah.
It's
That's what it
madness,
is.
though,
But that's
isn't
what
it?
it is. Is
But
that
the
they're told,
marketing-
oh, look, in 4 weeks you could lose 2 stone. And you're sold by that.
And the marketing's set up around
Yeah.
that.
Around
It's
that.
quick fix.
Yeah.
And
I
they
think it
market
was
that.
always that if ever I did try and do something, if it was 3-4 weeks in, oh, there's no change. Oh, it's not working. I'll try
Yeah.
something
Yeah,
else.
that's common.
And
That's
then it was
common.
like just bouncing between loads of different things, going, oh yeah, I'm going to do a 6-week program and it's just doing abs. It was like, oh look, nothing's changed. And then, okay, that don't work. I'll do something
Yeah,
else.
yeah.
That's
When-
another good one as well. Like, because it's always like saying, I just want to train my right bicep for a month. And you're going to end up, best case scenario, you're going to end up with a massive right bicep. It's like, when you think about like that as an idea in itself, it's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's like fat loss. How many like women do you meet and go, I just want to lose a bit of weight around here?
Around there,
You
yeah.
can't pinpoint fat loss. Do you know what I mean?
No.
Like you'll lose it quicker one place compared to the other place, but it's an all over body thing.
Absolutely.
So that's honestly a really like honest insight as well. And it's really interesting to look at it from that point of view. So you've gone through a couple of kind of like dicey strategies to try and lose some weight, right?
That was the most politest way of you saying that.
And then
Potato
no, it's
diet.
I think it's really interesting.
Yeah, no, I agree.
It is interesting.
It's really
'cause I-
interesting.
I want to understand the mindset,
psychology
of
of
it,
it,
the psychology of
But
it. Yeah.
it's all born out of confusion, isn't it? There's confusion around what the right thing to do
Well,
is.
it's preying on the vulnerability of someone. If someone's
Yeah.
feeling so low in
Desperate. They're
themselves
desperate.
and
Desperate.
desperate for a change, and you say to them in 4 weeks you could lose 2 stone, Christ, you're going to follow that person. And you're sold
Yeah.
a lie, and then you're upsold, and you're just in a vicious cycle. And exactly what you said, you don't see any change in 3 weeks. Right, move on to the next one.
Yeah, but
they-
often what will happen as well, though, these people that do crash diets, they will see a change very quickly because guess what?
yeah,
They're
as soon as you
in a
deplete
calorie
it, yeah.
deficit and they're going to lose weight very quick. But you can't sustain. Let's get it right. You can't sustain a potato diet for very long.
yeah.
So when you go back to eating normal again,
Yeah.
boom, you pile it back on again. So all you end up
Absolutely.
doing is yo-yoing constantly. There's no
But
consistency.
at that point, they've taken your money and
they're
gone.
happy. They're moving
They're
to the
gone.
next-
They've
the
taken your
next-
money.
next
Crack on with the next
person.
person. Anyways,
Yeah.
I went into a rant there myself. I'm going to chill out.
No,
now.
but it's interesting, isn't it? Because I I've never been in that position. So I do want to try and understand, like, and I try not to laugh because I just think to me it's mad. Like, why you think a potato diet is going to work? It's like, to me, in my head, it makes zero logic sense.
Yeah.
Like none. I can't even sitting in now. I'm like, I can't get my head around that. Why you would
I think I just saw the
I think I'm the opposite.
potential.
I can see it.
Sort of change or the potential for a really quick fix,
That's the
and
thing,
it was
isn't
like,
it? It's the
there we go. I'll just do that. Because then I thought, if I see drastic change really quick, it will then give me more motivation to go, right, okay, I will get into a gym, or I will start running.
It gets you going. That's the
or-
other thing people say. It gets me going. It gets me down the road, and then I can get
So
myself.
how long into it did you suddenly think to yourself, this ain't working?
Pretty quickly. I think in the end it was like,
You were bored of potatoes.
I reckon about the 20th jacket potato.
When you went to Tesco's, with the trolley full of spuds, they're like,
and then
you own a chip shop or what?
so I stuck to sort of the calorie counting quite a bit, but it was like 1,300 calories a day.
I knew that was coming. I knew that would just starve you.
Yeah, it was like I literally couldn't eat anything for breakfast, lunch, or dinner because I was like, 1,300 calories. I was then trying to divide that by 3 to go, right, I can only have X amount of calories for breakfast.
So did you have like mash for breakfast, jacket potato for lunch, and chips for dinner?
So I remember one time when
How'd you
like,
mix it
my
up?
mum was doing a roast and she's like, we haven't, oh no, I can just have the potatoes. And it literally just had.
I mean, to be fair, you can't go on with a good roasty, can you? But I'd like a bit of chicken with it.
Yeah, Jesus, yeah. That's crazy though. Like to
But
think
the worst headaches, just couldn't even think straight because I just had no energy
no balance.
to do anything.
You haven't got a balanced diet.
Yeah,
you know, at the end of the day, that's like that's crazy. But to think that information's out there and it's been given out and subscribed, do you know what I mean?
I used to blow my mind, a potato
That is a
diet.
new one on me. I've never heard that one.
I didn't expect to be like gobsmacked, but so
That's
when you got to
that was the most out there one.
So what was next after that? Where did your journey take you after that?
I think it then didn't. Once I sort of go, I can't really do anything with it. I was like, just stopped. I was like, okay, maybe I'll just try and sort of force myself to eat just some breakfast, a smaller lunch, smaller dinner, and then not really thinking about it.
Did that knock your confidence at all? Do you kind of think to yourself, "I tried, this is not working"?
Yeah,
cool.
Even though you didn't have the knowledge and the know to.
Or it was like I'd get somewhere, I'd lose a bit, and then go, okay, I'm quite happy here now, and then just creep back on again because then I wasn't tracking anything again, or I wasn't sticking to it, and it was just bouncing up and down.
Yeah.
All right. So fast forward it then, mate. When did it begin to sort of look up? I guess. Did you start training beforehand and then like?
No, I've just threw myself in. I was like, I've got to do something now. So just local Facebook groups, fitness classes, best gym in the area, this, that and the other. And the one that sort of kept coming back was EBC. We're down literally, and where it was.
Hold on, EBC Whittam or EBC? Because
it was EBC Whittam because it come up on our local Facebook.
Did you live in Whittam?
Located where you live in, obviously.
Where we train is, I live pretty much, my house backs onto the field where Wes does.
And you can hear me.
Did
I can hear him.
Did you know anybody that trained or anything?
No,
or?
not at all.
No?
Not at all. Yeah,
how did you find that with your self-esteem though? So like going to a group where you've gone through all these challenges of trying to find a way to lose weight, it's not working, up and down, yo, and your self-esteem's low, you're feeling shit. How did you feel about suddenly turning up to a session where there's all these people? Were you nervous about it?
Yeah, it definitely was nervous, but I think there was a bit of that thing of, well,
I just had my lunch.
I can't really get any lower, so all I can do is get bigger. So obviously I don't want to get bigger, so might as well just.
That still takes a bit of doing to go into a group environment like an insane. You don't know anybody. You feel a bit vulnerable anyway because of your experiences to that point. That takes some doing, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
So I think I'd emailed a couple of times about like, look, I'm thinking about joining. Like, what is it like? What do you kind of do? So I kind of had a little bit of background, maybe a week beforehand. And it was like, look, just come down, give it a shot. Like, that's going to be the hardest part, just turning up. So okay.
And what was your initial experience with the session?
I tell you what, it was tough. But I think it sort of clicked straight away. I go, actually, I enjoy this. It's not like
a sense of achievement at the end of it.
Because I've done the gym membership things before, like getting tied into like 2 years, and I go for a month. I'm like, I don't like this, and I've got 2 years worth of payments now. So it was only literally the first session I was like, actually, I really enjoy this. I think this is something I can stick with. I think I've done 2 sessions and then signed up direct debit.
So were you in your first session? Obviously, I'm looking from a different perspective. Obviously, I took your first session, but how were you? Like, were you made to feel all right when you turned up? How were you made to feel?
Oh, it was,
and straight off the bat.
Yeah, it wasn't just I'm just gonna turn up and someone's just gonna tell me what to do. Everyone comes straight up. Oh, you're right, yeah. Like, first session, like really welcoming.
Were you nervous?
Yeah, I was bricking it. But yeah, everyone there, and I think it's the same whenever we speak to other people that sort of travel locations. It's not a them and us, or I thought it would be a little bit cliquey, and it's not at all.
We don't kind of attract. We say this to people all the time. Like, I mean, some sites get a little bit cliquey because they've been trained together for like 10, 12 years, which is understandable because relationships are formed and close friendships are formed. So you're always going to get that little bit. But I think everyone can always admit, you know, if you've got people that have been with us for 17 years, some of our members, to new members, everyone can remember what it was like to turn up for their first one.
Yeah.
Because we kind of like, we do knock it out of you a little bit because, you know, you could turn up really fit and our job as an instructor is to identify that and then we'll just tear you apart. Do you know what I mean? Like for your benefit. So you could turn up at ultra marathon runner and like, you know, run 2-hour marathons. I don't really care. We're going to break you in 10 minutes because we're trying to tap into that mental side. We've spoken about this loads of times before. So everyone's in the same boat.
Yeah.
I think that's why you always feel comfortable in the group, isn't it? Because, you know, by the end of that one session, your first session, overweight, someone could be coming 10 years, ultra marathon runner, you're all fucked at the end of it. You're all in the same boat. You know, so there's like a mutual respect there, isn't there? And that person fully looks at you and goes, well done, because I know exactly how you're feeling.
I think that's what I liked as well on my first session when I was sort of saying, oh, look, I really struggle with this, or oh, I can't do this. Everyone said, I was you 2 years ago. It was like I was saying exactly the same things to the people that were on my first session, and you're now saying it to me as if I'm the one that's always been able to sprint a lap of the field or drag this tyre up and down. And it was, I wouldn't be able to do that unless I come here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was there a point in that first session, give it, you know, the first sort of half an hour, was there a point where you're like, well, I don't think I can do this? Or were there any points where like you
pretty much, yeah.
When you met Wes.
I mean, I was pretty harsh straight off the bat.
I think it was more, straight away in the warm-up run. I was like, I think I've bitten off a bit more I can chew. Because I couldn't even get one half down to the field. Like, I've got to walk the rest.
What did he do? So what did Wes do to kind of mitigate that feeling?
I think it was right from the...
Be honest, he's still got his job at the end of this, by the way.
I think it was right off the bat. It was like, look, I'm probably going to say or ask you to do things or ask the group to do things you might not be able to do. I want to get you through the first hour. I don't want you to give absolutely everything for a warm-up and then you pass out and be like, I don't want to do this again. And then that's your fitness journey over before it's even started. So just give what you can now, and then we'll just try and find a bit more each time.
Just take one step at a time.
Chip away.
It's like, look, it's your first session. Don't feel offended if I go, guys, run to the end of the field and back. Bill, go halfway and come back.
Yeah.
I think because the hardest part, Glyn touched on it, the hardest part of our job is making sure that everybody's getting a workout to their level. And that you need to be quite well versed to get that done. And I'd say that obviously Glyn's good at it, and he's really good at it as well. And he's good at kind of like bringing people into a community and it not being a thing, it not being elitist.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? He's really good at that side of things. But it's a tough gig.
It's hard to do.
To do that.
It is hard to do.
100%.
Because like you take yourself as an example, you know, I say to people that turn up for their first session, I always laugh and go, within the first 10-minute warm-up, you're going to question why you're here.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you forget, like, for someone to run around a football pitch, it's a long way. That seems like a long way. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So you say to them, run around that, that's going to seem like a marathon to them. But, you know, and then it becomes degrading to some people when you say, right, you lot run the whole pitch, you lot run around half the pitch, and they're like, Why am I giving the easy one? It's like, look, just let us do our job. Take your time with it. Once, if I identify that you've done that well, we can push it. Just be patient.
For sure.
Yeah,
I mean,
Wes is
that's
good
the
at that.
first thing I say to people. I say, please do not be offended
Yeah,
if I taper, because I want to see you for the next 6 years of your life, not for the next 60 minutes. If I can get through here, we can get through the next 6 years
because
together.
once you get through that, you feel good, and then you want to do it again and then again and
Absolutely.
again, and just consistency is the key.
And I want to
isn't it?
say
As
to
we
people,
always say.
I'm learning about you just as much as you're learning about me in this first hour. So I got to gauge where you're at. You got to see how I deliver, the tone I go in at. We're learning for the next hour about each other.
Bill, when was the last time? So that point where you get to where you feel like you're asking questions of yourself and you're not sure whether you can answer the question. So you get into that point where it's a bit tough, right? Before going to that session, when was the last time you felt like that physically?
Yeah, I couldn't even tell you, because straight off from school was like, that's it. I'm not doing that. So it probably was when I left school, probably 10 years ago now.
But it's almost like relearning, isn't it? That you when you get to the point where your body's a bit uncomfortable and it's adjusting to being uncomfortable, you're going to be all right.
Yeah.
You just adjust to it. Your body's quite resilient. It'll come up to that level, and then you adapt.
I think that's what I remember my second session more, because at the end of the first one, I was like, look, if you come to any other session, just come to the Wednesday session, because the first session was on the Monday. It's like, just come Wednesday. If that's the only other one you come to, come to Wednesday.
Did he bribe you, Bill?
No.
I always think the second session is the hardest session to get
Like,
through.
just make
Because
sure
people are hurting and they kind of know what to
very
expect.
true.
It's good chat.
I think if you can get them in the second one, you've got them for 10 hours.
get
Good
there.
chat.
And I
You
remember I
guys
turned
talk.
up and Wes went, what hurts? I was like, my legs are in bits. So, okay, right, lunge walk across the basketball court.
Just try and verbalise. So it wasn't the next day. So after the first session, you get a bit of elation for getting it done.
Yeah.
It wasn't the next day. It's the day after that, right? 48 hours.
Yeah.
And try and explain.
Whole body. I couldn't even, get out of bed, just fall over. Everything hurt. Like, there was not one part of me, my legs, my arms, chest, back, everything was just in
What you thinking
agony.
at that point? You're like,
I felt good, because I've actually had a workout. Like, I haven't had this feeling ever.
It's funny how DOMS makes people feel shit but good.
I like it.
Even though
like it.
DOMS
I like
isn't
it.
really an indicator that you've.
I was going to say,
Of
there's
that.
times where I've had a good workout and gone, I don't feel anything the next day.
Oh, I haven't had
I'm
DOMS. I've not worked hard
No.
enough. No, it's not. That's
Yeah.
not the case. We know that, but that's
that-
interesting how that isn't
Yeah,
it?
that second day, was, I think, the one that sort of kicked it in for me. I was like, right, this is me. Like, I've got to stick at this.
So,
now.
so as you kept going and going, what kept you coming back? Don't say him.
No, definitely not.
What
I
kept
think
you
it
coming
was-
back?
I
Two
think it
thumbs and
was-
it's bloody awesome.
I think it was the group of people.
Community.
Because I don't think, if it was just me on my own, I don't think I could work with just a single PT, because it's just me. There's no real backwards and forwards a lot of the time.
Because you're not found the right PT.
No.
mate. Just saying.
There we go. But I think there was a big group of us, and sort of everyone was bouncing off each other, and it wasn't just you and someone else. It was
I think the
a
big-
group of 10, 15, 20 other people.
the big group dynamic does change the session.
Yeah.
And it makes it's a different feel, isn't it? To a smaller group, I think.
Yeah, agree.
Like that changes it up a little bit.
Yeah.
So you saw quite a big change in the first, was it 6 to 8 weeks before you done your first 60? So you saw quite a big change in yourself anyways before you even took on the EBC60. So then obviously when the EBC60 come, I think you were at the exact point where you needed to be then to go, right, let's dive into this a bit deeper now. Let's really focus in on some of your nutrition side of things. So let's talk a little bit about the EBC60 and your entry into that, and what were your expectations? Because obviously you've done so many different diets and things in the past. How were you kind of positioning yourself, and what was your expectations of the EBC60, knowing obviously that you'd done some of this stuff in the past?
Yeah, see, I didn't actually really know what to expect. It was just, I've heard things through other people in the group that had done it. I was like, maybe I'll sign up for it, see what it's like. Because I always found the exercise more difficult than the dieting side. So it was like, maybe I'll look into it a little bit more. And yeah, that was when it sort of track absolutely everything. Sauces, what drinks, if you're going to have your coffees, teas, put everything in. And then it was through there, I was like, I'm probably doing 1,500 calories a day just in Cokes, energy drinks,
That's crazy.
milk in teas and coffees. Yeah, it was
Hidden calories.
I love
So
that.
the
I
hidden-
love the tea and coffee analogy. It's brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah,
A dash of milk. How many you have a day? 5, 6.
that'll do it.
Yeah.
It's
There's
enough to put you
300-400
over.
calories done.
Yeah.
Straight away.
Easy.
So go on, mate. So when did you do the first one? Sorry, Wes.
first one was
April last year, wasn't it? Was it April?
No, it was the first year I was in.
How
So I
many years
think
you
it
been
might
in
have
now?
been
2 years?
September.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be 2 years in April.
Does it feel like you've known him a lot longer?
Yeah,
Didn't it just?
I was talking to him.
Just
See.
grating.
Hey, I see it almost every other day.
Uh,
So one of the things that we obviously focus a lot with EBC60 is your calories.
Yeah.
And ensuring that your calories are your optimum level for your body, your energy, and what you're expending. How did you feel going from what was told at 1,300 calories to then going over 2,000? How was the psychology of knowing that actually
Yeah.
I should be eating considerably more
I
than
think
what
the
I've been told in the past?
first few days I did struggle. I was like, I can't eat, because I think the first one I'd done, I was on 2,400 calories. I was like, I can't eat 2,400 calories worth. And there was quite a few days where, because when it started, it was on the Facebook group. It was like getting someone commenting. It was like, there's more in there. Like, grab a snack or something. I was like, honestly, I can't. It's like, just find the calories, get them in, because then when you start to progress further and your output goes up, you'll need that extra
Food is fuel.
150, 200 calories that you've missed off today. You will need it for the end of the week.
that's
It's
the
mad.
biggest.
It's mad. Sorry, mate. It's mad the psychology of what you're saying there. I can't eat 2,400, but
Christ, it's so
actually,
easy.
you must have been eating considerably more than that to get to the weight
Yeah.
that you got to. So
I'm glad you said that, because I'm just thinking that. It's like, I'm thinking exact thing. I'm watching you talk and I'm thinking, I can't eat. So I'm thinking, well, you can, mate.
yeah, I
Yeah.
was going to say,
I
a
was
lot
putting
of
it
weight
away.
on, so you must
I
have been
think it
eating
was
twice
because
that.
Yeah.
where I was now more concerned with my fitness side, I was like, right, I've got to make a healthier food choice. So rather than doing 1,000 calories in sausage
Shit.
rolls and pork pies,
Calorie dense.
Calorie dense
Oh,
food.
yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
If you look at like 500 calorie meal of lush greens and stuff, it looks like that.
Yeah.
You get a Pop-Tart at 300 calories.
Pork pie is the best one.
Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, anything like that.
400, 500 calories,
Yeah,
easy.
which is why it's hard.
Yeah.
It is hard to, when I remember I did my old standing on stage stuff. When I was trying to do by my bulking point of clean eating. I was nearly 6,000 calories I was on. I was trying to eat clean, mate. No, you just
a lot of
there's
consumption.
only so much chicken, rice, potato. Obviously you can eat a lot of potato, chicken, rice, and potato that you can
you're
consume
a
6,000 calories worth. So you need, when you're eating a lot of calories, you need calorie dense stuff. But
Yeah.
when you're in a deficit, you need the bulk.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
But
So
equally though, the other misconception you get on there, people say when they eat clean food, they say, i.e. they eat good sources of food that are nutritious, and
whole
give you what you
nutritious
need.
stuff. Yeah.
You can still put on weight
Yeah,
and gain
yeah.
weight by eating,
Yeah.
gain weight by
Yeah.
eating clean food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just knowing where your energy, how much energy your body needs, and what ultimately what you're putting into it, how you're fueling your
Yeah.
body on a daily basis. And that's the education piece, isn't it? And that's different for different people.
Yeah, for sure.
Around lifestyle and where you're at in terms of physiology.
yeah, I think it was that realising actually what I was eating. Because I would always sit and go, well, I've only had lunch and dinner. But yeah, my lunch was a sandwich, 2 pork pies, packet of crisps, and a bar of chocolate.
I
was like-
listen, I do like a pork pie
like-
though.
we can see.
Yeah, I do like a pork pie every now and then.
But then it was that and go, oh, actually, yeah, that whole meal was over half of my daily calories. And then
Yeah.
I was doing
And
the
then repeat
same.
the same again.
Yeah. Doing the same again. And then, that constantly being in a calorie surplus and just,
So through the
Every
EBC
single day.
60, then what kept you on track for that 60-day period?
I think it was because I'd seen other diets that I'd done fail. I was like, I'm going to do absolutely everything that it tells me to, because then if I don't get the results I want, then I can just put it down to the other ones. Oh, it didn't work. Whereas if I was like, oh, actually today I do fancy going over calories, or I'm not going to do my 10,000 steps, or I'm not going to make sure I drink at least 2 litres of water. Then if I don't get the results, it'll be my fault. So it's like, I'm not going to give any sort of excuse for it to be my fault. So it's like every day, if I've 9:30, I want to go to bed. Oh, and I've still got 2,000 steps to do, right, out around the block. Go right now and go to bed.
I think what was super important for you at that time as well is that you started your journey. It wasn't like you did everything in 1 week. You didn't just sign up to everything, overload yourself with loads of information. You'd built yourself into regular training. So this almost came at the perfect time for you to go, do you know what? I can deal with this now because I've seen the change. I see it's working. These guys kind of know what they're talking about. What have they got to offer us now? And I think the timing for you was almost that sweet spot for you to really, really take it on board.
What I liked was that there was stuff behind it as well. It's not just, here you go, have 2,400 calories. It's like, this is why we've put you on 2,400 calories, because this is what your like metabolic rate is, and we want to get you in. You're going to be working out X amount of days, so this is why your calories go up, because you're going to be working out.
Giving you some knowledge behind it.
Yeah, it wasn't just, there you go, have at it, crack on. There was, it was more education as to why you're going to be eating this and how it's then going to affect you for your training.
How did you find the approach that we have towards it? Obviously, because we're not like, you have to eat this like this at that point, at that time. Like, you get a lot of diets and nutrition plans are written out. They're so regimented, and they're really hard to stick to. So at the end of the day, we're quite flexible with things, aren't we? We kind of look at your calories, like, you was a bit over that day. Doesn't matter, don't worry about it, move on to, it's quite chilled out, I think, from our perspective. As long as you're hitting your numbers by the end of that week and stuff like that, and you're consistent, and the odd day in here and there, if you put in your food diary that I had a Mars bar, no one bites your head off and go, oh, you've eaten a Mars bar, shit. Like that.
Yeah, I think that was good, because then everyone would look at it and go, oh, yeah, you've had that extra Mars bar, but you've done extra 7,000 steps today. So
it weighs out.
Yeah, it weighs out.
There are two things as well. Like we've tried to operate out of principles, scientific principles. So, and that doesn't make it too ultra kind of restrictive or equally specific. So we're trying to operate out of scientific principles that we can justify. And then secondly, it's trying to be progressive. So as Wesley's saying there as well, we're not making loads and loads of changes and throwing loads at you at the start. It's understanding your numbers and your activity and the relationship between those two and the interplay between those two.
Yeah.
And then progressing it on a little bit and then starting to look at what we're eating.
Yeah.
But I think one of the biggest ones, and it's so simple, people gloss over it. If you've not been very active and you're overeating, we're in a surplus. Identify that. What are we doing then, to up our activity? People want to gloss over all that stuff, but it's super important. And it's understanding that, isn't it? It's understanding what's going on for you. And I think that's one of the $1 million kind of breakthrough moments. And it just sounds like that for, the reason I've mentioned it.
Yeah, it definitely was.
It sounds like that for you. And it's when you think about what it is, it's simple, but it's not when it's your life and you're trying to pick the pieces through it and find out what's going on.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's you need someone like, Wesel to identify it and say, look, this is what's happening and this is what we feel, is going to get you down the road.
Because from that, I've been able to add that when like a 60 ends, it's not like I don't know what to do now.
Yeah.
Because I've had all of that. I go, right, I now know that, right, okay, where am I sitting at the moment? Right, I want to lose maybe a little bit more, or I'm okay where I'm at. So then I can sort of change my numbers and go, right, I can maintain that now until something else is coming up, or next goal, or I've got something on.
And that's so important.
This is what exactly I can now do.
When we wrote the program, that's exactly what we wanted. We wanted people to do 60 days, leave us, and not necessarily have to come back unless they really need accountability. Because
it was designed to be educational.
For you to go away and you've got everything
That's why we called
need.
it Elect back in the day.
The only thing that does pop up though is some of the guys at Chelmsford that have just come off of it and that they really enjoyed it. The piece they miss is the community piece
and the accountability, isn't
and
it,
just checking in. So they've got like a little there's this app called WhatsApp. I don't know if you've heard of it. Apparently it's quite good. I don't think it's been. How long's it been out for? Has it been out for a while?
A couple of weeks.
How old are you, mate?
A couple of weeks.
Yeah, just find that out there. We all like that one. Edit that out, Will. Edit that out. So they've got created a little WhatsApp group, and basically they're just staying accountable to each other, which is great because they know what they've got to do. But the bit they like is that, again, that community feel, that accountability. That's something that we're starting to think about, especially sort of pushing into the new year with
absolutely
what we're going to put out there and other bits and pieces and what we've got coming through. So it is something that we're always trying to make the experience better
Yeah, I think that's
That
why
was my next question to you, is because obviously you started with it when it was on Facebook.
Yeah.
You've seen some of the evolution over the last 2 years or three EBC60s since, and I think you've been on every single one of those cohorts with us.
I used to hate the bib. It was a good medium to deliver, but it used to really wind me up.
Yeah, it was a good platform to start from for us. It was never going to be the end.
It ticked the boxes, didn't it?
So how have you seen the evolution? Like, one, do you like the evolution that we've done? Do you like something more? I mean, it's all updated, the content, the way it's all kind of delivered now is completely changed.
Now it's all on the app. It's streamlined everything, and it's more. So the reason why I've come back to the 60s before is the accountability side. Like, yes, I can track my own calories, but then it was, if I know I've got to submit my numbers, or once I put it in my Fitness Pal, my coach is then going to see it.
You was always bang on, mate, when I coached you for the last one. I remember, always bang on.
I think there was a couple of times where I think I had a message pop up, and I was like, Glenn's messaged me. It's like, hang on, you're training 4 days a week, not 3? I was like, yeah. It's like, right, okay. And then notification come up. Calories have been upped. Protein has been upped. I'm like,
I remember you coming into that session. I went, yeah, serves you right, flying.
I think I screenshot it and sent it to Wes, and Wes just sent me a photo of you two in a coffee shop. I was like, right, okay, that's how he's found out I'm doing 4 sessions a week.
The great thing is a couple of
I
things.
remember you telling me that. I was like, what? And I was like, right, he's getting more food.
But I think it was then, because I was like, I've got to get protein in then. And I think the first couple of days, I then got another message like, you've had 2 protein shakes today. It's like, yeah, you've got me on 200 grams of protein. It's like, well, eat it, don't drink it. Okay, right.
One of the great things now, that's a good example of it. You can go into someone's profile, our end of it, and just see what's been going on for the last 2 weeks. Like, you can go back and get a really good overview and feel for what's going on to give the feedback. And that, from our point of view, you're parting with your kind of know-how and your experience to comment on that data that you've got on someone, and it makes that's really powerful. Like,
the thing is, the people that get successful at that, right, I'm just thinking, are the ones that are accountable for their actions. So, like, you take that as an example. I pinged the fact that you were training, or got grassed on, that you were training.
I was just caring for his well-being.
Okay, grassed on. That you were doing more, so I gave you more food, and you didn't just sit there and go, oh, I can't eat anymore. No, I'm ignoring that. You took it on board, you adapted, you changed it. That's why you got results. And it is frustrating as a coach when you look at someone and you're just like, you know, like there was this one person on the last one that I was coaching, and like, honestly, maybe she struggled to get her protein in, but the amount of shakes she was drinking, it was ridiculous. I'm like, you've got to rein that in a little bit, because you're going to be squirting for the eye of a needle at some point. Like, you need to start eating some whole food. I'd said that politically nice as well. Thank you very much. I was clean on that one.
Oh, good. I love it.
But it never changed. It's like you've got to start eating better food, a bit like you know, stop drinking so many bloody shakes, eat proper food. Do you know what I mean? You've got to be accountable for your own actions at some point. Take the knowledge that we're giving you and action it. Don't just look at it and be like, no, I'm ignoring it and moving on.
I think that set me up for the next 60, because I was working with Will, and I think Will had me on 2,800 calories.
That's why you're coming back to the next one, isn't it? That's what I thought.
2,800 calories and 210 grams of protein. So I was like, right, okay, if I can't drink them now, I'm now going to have to sit there and actually plan my next day's worth of food. So it was bulk buying food, keeping it in the freezer, go, right, what can I get out? Planning it all for the next day, go, right, that's what I'm going to eat today. So then I didn't have to think about anything, because my next day's worth of food was already programmed in. I know what I'm eating. I know what I'm doing that day. It's now not, I've got to try and find 75 grams of protein.
The thing is,
dinner.
know what, by doing that, what that is doing, that's educating you.
Yeah.
You don't realise it by Will making you do that, and then you're forcing yourself to go, oh my God, I have to plan this. I've got to stop drinking shakes. I now have to identify how to eat my protein. What you don't realise is you're actually educating yourself. So like you said, get to the end of the EBC60, we disappear, and you're like, you don't sit there and go, where do I get my protein from? You've been drilled it for 60 days, and you just naturally like, right, that. It becomes second nature. That's the whole point of the whole thing, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's like, I know it's difficult because we're going, you have to do this, you have to change that, make these changes, do this. You're like, oh my God, it feels like a lot of admin to start with, but you're slowly educating yourself over a period of time.
In an ideal sort of world, it was designed for you to be quite intuitive with it. So by the time you get to the end of it, as Glenn's saying there, that you've got a really good feel for what you're doing week to week. You know roughly.
Yeah.
You don't need to be writing it down and being really, really anal with your food, but you've got an intuitive feel for what's going on.
Yeah.
Basically, that's where we're trying to get to. Did you feel that you got to kind of something like that? Or
Yeah, definitely. I think before, if I'd stopped something, I would see the weight creep back on. Whereas now we've stopped 60. I haven't really been tracking anything, but I've maintained a consistent weight now.
We've done
Whereas
our job then,
before,
didn't we, boys?
I'd go
100%.
up a couple of kilos straight away and go, oh, right, now I've got to get back onto tracking to get it back down. Whereas no,
sorry, I feel I'm killing Wesley as well, but like, would you? So with that in mind, so you've gone through the process. It worked for you. You found a strategy through it, and the bits and pieces that Glenn's talked about. That you found something that worked. Do you feel like it would be benefit for you in the next 12 months to do another one to top up, or if there was do you know what I mean? If there was a product out there that could just keep you focused for a period of time?
yeah, I think I would. That's why I think I would regularly come back to the 60s just to have
Just to
that.
revisit.
Yeah, more for the accountability side of it. Because, yeah, there's obviously, I know there's going to be days where I go, I don't fancy it today. And then I know myself, if I have one bad day, it's going to lead on to a second, third,
I was
and then
going to
it's...
ask you that actually. Like, so being a guy that kind of lost the way a little bit and then put loads of weight on, do you ever worry about one day turns to 2 days and then you think to yourself, before I know it, I'm back to where I was 2 years ago?
Yeah, definitely.
Does that always play on your mind?
Yeah, because I know that if I go, I've been really good this month, I will go out and have that sort of blowout meal, and then I feel shit for it afterwards and go, 2 days out of a month isn't going to be that bad. But then it never is 2 days.
2 weeks.
It's 2 weeks. And then trying to get back into it is then more difficult because then you don't want to rejoin a place where you wasn't. You want to be straight back into where you was, and then you're not going to be because you've had 3-4 weeks out just binging.
I think that's quite a healthy way to think about it, though. I think, like, when you sort of start to justify that and stack that up in your head, that's not a bad way to think about it because you've invested time and effort to keep yourself healthy, keep yourself fit, and you don't want to lose that, do you?
No.
So you just, that's the good way to justify it in your head, I think.
Yeah.
And from a long-term point of view as well, definitely.
Let's hear it then, Bill. What's the stats from start to finish so far?
Start to finish so far is 33 kilo.
Mad, isn't it? In 2
Jeez.
years. And it's stayed.
That's a lot, isn't it?
And it's
30
stayed.
33.
Kilo.
That is ridiculous.
Mental,
Yeah.
isn't it?
That's a lot.
It's mental, isn't it?
Even, so I done my first 5K in probably 4 years. So when I first run a 5K, I done it in 48 minutes. I run one last week in 25 minutes.
That's good effort.
Phenomenal,
So, yeah.
mate.
That's good effort.
Phenomenal.
Taking over 20 minutes off a 5K time.
I'm thinking in my head, have we got a 30 kilogram weighted vest?
We've got a 30 kilogram man, haven't we? I know he's 80 kilos, isn't he?
I have.
You got a 30 kilogram weighted vest? That might make its way to you for a session.
I've had him a
Yeah,
couple.
I did
where I've
that.
gone,
I did that, to be fair, when he was at 20.
could
I gave him
you
a 20
imagine?
kilo vest and said,
So
I remember what it used to feel like.
I've got 2 weighted vests and I took the plates out of one, excuse me, and I put it out of one, put it into the other. So I had a 40 kilo weighted vest. I'll tell you what,
It's mental, isn't it?
that's a phenomenal amount of weight to carry.
Yeah.
Phenomenal amount of weight. Yeah.
And if just another thing to sort of start to wrap it up, like if you could give yourself a piece of advice, like the guy that started, or anybody that's going to
Go back 2 years, what would you say?
what would you say? Like,
I think if I went back 2 years, I'd say just get on it sooner. Because looking back on it, I could have been like this a long time ago. I could have got a lot more enjoyment out of it rather than put it off to the end of my 20s. If I'd started sort of at the beginning of my 20s, I could have had a bit more enjoyment out of it.
it's the right things at the right time, though.
Yeah, I was going to caveat
Yeah.
that and say I feel like you needed to go through that journey
Yeah.
to really appreciate where you are today. It's all well and good going back and saying, but yeah, I mean, yeah, so you'd recommend anyone to jump on EBC60?
Definitely.
So what
Yeah,
you're saying?
100%.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
February 2024.
Wow. Wow.
Bill, thank you so much for coming in,
No
mate.
worries.
Really
Thank you.
appreciate it,
Story.
mate. Thank you.
Thank you.
Guys, like and subscribe, please. If you enjoyed Bill's story, you're more than welcome to come down to session. He will happily take 20 burpees from you. And look forward to seeing you all very soon.